So picking up where we left off with applying the pipe command. We want to make sure that we don't cut this object, so in order to do that, I'll right-click on the explode icon, and I'll just take these two surfaces, and I'll extract them. Let me join them back together. And now I'll just sort of ignore them. They're right there. When I do my pipe command and tell it to split these surfaces, I'm just going to not select this so we don't end up cutting any weird shapes into these. And you'll see why in a moment. So I'll take my curve, and I can go up to Solid, and choose Pipe from the menu here. And let's go ahead and try, we'll do a 14.5 millimeter pipe. So I'll type 14.5 millimeters, hit Enter. Now it remembers that 14.5, so if I want, I can have a different size cross section at this end, or if I just hit Enter, it'll go ahead and plot that 14.5 millimeters again for me. Now notice this was actually an error, but I'm kind of glad it happened. So I didn't extend my pipes far enough, so you can see they're cutting into this surface, which is going to cause us all sorts of problems. So let's undo that, and we'll do the curve, extend curve again. I'll hit Enter to get through the boundary object question. And now for curve to extend, I'll just pick this end. We'll make that a 5, and we'll really make sure that we're up further than that. So all of these, I just pick the end and hit Enter. And now I know I'm beyond that. Now you do stay in the command until you hit Enter by itself, and then that exits the command. So now we have this. Let's try pipe again. I can type the word pipe. And notice it remembers 14.5, so I'll just hit Enter twice. And now our pipes go up and above the surface. So that's exactly what we want. I could mirror this over, or since I'm already in that command, I can just hit Enter to apply it again. And there we go, we've reapplied that command. So we'll take this surface, just going to split it using these two poly surfaces. Now it's kind of hard to see what's going on in here, so let's just delete those, and then we can actually see what we have. So we have this area here, and I can delete that. And then we have this front section here, and I can delete that. And you'll notice it leaves me a very, very thin side cross section here. And because it's getting a little confusing, let me take those curves, and this time I'll just hide them. I won't move those off to the curve layer. And we're not doing anything with this upper piece at this point. So I'll go under Surface, and I'm going to choose Blend Surface. If you like using the toolbar, you can come over here to the toolbar, and it's this icon here. Make sure Auto Chain is on, and we're just going to select one edge. And that goes all the way around. And that's our first edge. We'll hit Enter, and now the command line is asking us to pick our second edge. We want to zoom in here just to make sure we're picking the right thing, and we want this edge that's on this side, the same side as the surface we just picked. So I'm going to pick right there and hit Enter. And we're going to make sure that we leave Curvature Continuous on, or if you came in here and Tangency was on, just go ahead and switch to Curvature. And we'll select Preview and just get a look at the surface we're building here. Let me try turning on my isocurves so we can see what we have going. You can see when I do that, the surface is getting a little out of whack. So let's go into the front view here. And I'm going to click on Add Shapes. I'm going to make sure Perpendicular is selected. And now I'm just going to pick somewhere along the edge here, then move the cursor over to this edge, and that'll straighten up my cross sections. I'll repeat the same thing on this side. One or two in sort of this tighter section down at the bottom, and notice it's straightened up that whole cross section for us. See if I can get one right through up here as well. And that'll force that to be nice and perpendicular as it goes around as well. That looks pretty good. I'll hit OK on that. And let's apply the same thing here. This time I'll pick this edge first. So I'll click here. I notice it goes all the way around, so I can hit Enter. Now I'm picking my second edge, that edge there. Notice again my ISO curves that show me my cross section are looking a little strange. So I go and Add Shapes. And from this view, I can even do this. As long as I have my perpendicular set, I can just come in here and make some selections. Now this is one you might find if you have your center snap on. The center snap really kind of gets a little overpowering. So you may want to kind of switch that off if you do have that on. And again, I'm going to put one up a little higher to force those cross sections to really straighten up as they go across the top. I'll hit enter. And then let's join this surface, this guy, and this guy. Let me turn off my surface isocurves. And now we have this surface, and notice it extends up and above this flat area, or this cut area on our object. So let's choose that. So now we have this joined together. We should be able to go ahead and trim this top. Now in this particular case, it's not going to work when we try this, which is good. I'll show you a workaround. So we'll take this surface here, and we'll try splitting it using this surface. And notice nothing happens. There's no cut lines here. And why that is because this surface here is actually dipping down below this plane, so it can't trim itself out all nicely. There's actually a very nice quick little workaround for that. So we'll just take this poly surface and we'll explode it. And now we have individual pieces here. I can go up to surface, extend surface, and just click on an edge to extend it. And see how that just kind of grew that edge? I'll hit that command again. I'll just grow that piece. And I have to apply the command each time, so I'm just hitting my space bar each time. And we know we're good through here because this surface was originally cut by this. So that will all work. And we'll come back in and we'll join these all back together. So even though we've extended those edges, we can still join this all. All right, so now we should be able to trim everything away. So we'll grab this surface and we'll grab this surface, and we'll use our trim command, and we'll just click on the parts that we want to get rid of. So we want to get rid of this piece here, this piece. Let me move my camera position. That part there, that piece, and then that little piece there. And that should be all of those pieces. Let's go ahead and hit join. And let's check for any naked edges. Has this set to naked edges, and my command line tells me no naked edges. So we know this is a nice solid object. And because of the way we did our blends, we know we have curvature continuous or almost perfect fillets on this particular model. So we have our large fillet put into the model now, and all we need to do to finish this off is just kind of cap it with making this nice and round. So for this one, we'll just put a standard fillet in here. I'll just choose fillet edge. So I've hit 5, and now I have a 5mm radius on this edge. And I'm going to hit chain edges, and that way I won't have to go around and select all these individual edges, because I know this is curvature continuous when we made this large fillet. So if I click here with chain edges selected, notice it goes around and selects the whole thing for me. I'll hit enter. It shows me all my handles. I've got preview on, and that looks like everything's going to work on this one. Let's hit enter again. And sure enough, that all worked. So now we've got our main body all finished here. So that completes our look at using the pipe and surface blend when a standard fillet doesn't work. In the next lesson, we'll start adding detail to the main body.